There is a place in the South Atlantic where there are no airports, where cruise ships do not arrive, where you cannot take a flight if you want to leave. To reach it, you need about 7 days of navigation in the open sea. It is called Tristan da Cunha, and it is considered one of the most remote human settlements in the world. Fewer than 300 people live here, and for over 2 centuries this community has continued to exist in a way that, elsewhere, would seem impossible. Tristan da Cunha is not just an island, it is a small archipelago made up of the main island, the only inhabited one, and 3 others, Inaccessible, Nightingale, and Gough. It lies thousands of kilometers from the nearest coasts. It is not connected to the rest of the world by airports. There are no commercial flights. The only way to get there is by sea, a crossing that can last a week, and when you leave, you do not know exactly when you will return. If the sea rises, you wait. If a ship does not arrive, you wait longer. And in the middle of the ocean, there are no alternatives. Looking at a map, it almost seems like a dot lost in the ocean, and perhaps that is precisely its strength. The island was discovered in 1506 by a Portuguese navigator who gave it its name. But the real history of the community begins in the 19th century. William Glass and his wife decided to settle here. With them, a silent social experiment was born, far from the eyes of the world. Over time, other people arrived, from different nationalities. In 1892, for example, 2 Italians who survived a shipwreck were rescued by the inhabitants and decided to stay. In a place where arriving is difficult, deciding to stay is even harder. Even today, among the 8 surnames present on the island, 2 are Italian. In such a small place, stories are not lost, they intertwine. Tristan da Cunha, in theory, depends on the British territory of St. Helena, but the community has always followed the agreements established by the first inhabitants. Coexistence is based on a simple principle, equality, and there is a detail that makes this island different from almost any other place in the world. Here, private property, in the traditional sense, does not exist. The land is shared. Decisions are made for the collective good, not for individual advantage. There are no large landowners. There are no luxury houses next to poor houses. No one can enrich themselves at the expense of others, and no one can impose orders on their fellow villager. Is it a fragile model? Because the real question is not how it works when everything goes well, but what happens when something goes wrong? Or is it simply a possible model when people are so few and so interdependent? Today, about 290 people live on the island. The official language is English, but the local dialect is influenced by the Italian, Dutch, and Gaelic origins of the first inhabitants. In such an isolated place, community is not an abstract concept. It is a concrete necessity. If something breaks, it is repaired together. If a ship arrives, it is an event. Here, anonymity does not exist. If you walk down the street, every person knows who you are, where you come from, who your parents are. There are no shopping malls. There is no traffic. There are no crowds. There is the wind. There is the ocean. There is a volcano that dominates the island and reminds us that nature here is sovereign. And when the wind changes, there is nowhere else to go. Distance is not only geographical, it is also symbolic. Tristan da Cunha is a place that forces you to slow down, to coexist, to share. But living so far from everything, is it freedom, or is it a different form of limitation? In our time, we are connected everywhere. We can talk to anyone at any moment. And yet, often, we feel isolated. Tristan da Cunha is the opposite, geographically isolated, but founded on interdependence. Perhaps the real question is not how far this island is, but what it truly means to live together. Would you be willing to live in a place where no one truly owns anything, where the community comes before the individual? Or do we now need to own something to feel safe?